Welcome to a new episode of In My Garage. This time we meet the owner and builder of one of WA's most extraordinary four-wheel drives. It dates from the 70s, but is a product of a 4-year restoration like no other to become one man's dream 4x4. Brian Rhodes, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Alex.
Can you please tell us what's in your garage?
How about I just show you?
All right, Brian, what do we have here?
We have a BJ40 Toyota Land Cruiser.
And what year?
Well, it depends which part you want to know about. The chassis is a 1979.
Yeah.
The tub that you see is 83, and the engine is 85, I believe.
Yeah.
Basically, I bought the original for the chassis. The body was not worth saving, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a BJ as opposed to FJ, which are petrol. The BJs have the diesel. This one has got the 3B, 3.4 litre 4-cylinder diesel engine.
Yeah.
It's a big, heavy engine. It's strong and reliable, if not rather slow.
Yeah.
It will cruise along all day on the freeway at 80, 90, as long as you don't push it too hard. It just purrs. It's really a really strong engine.
And what drew you to this type of vehicle to start with? Is it something you've longed for since you were a kid, or what is it about them that...
No, we came out from the UK in 91, and I'd never seen one before in the UK. I don't think they were actually imported there by Toyota. And like I say, I saw one in 91 and it was a wow. But you fast forward 21 years and I had the time and the funds to actually look at buying one myself.
So that seed that was sown back in the early 90s took quite some time to germinate.
It took a long time to germinate, but it was always growing.
Yeah.
It was the original BJ40 that I bought in 2012. That was the start of the 4-year adventure. 2017 I actually first drove it on the road, which was quite a milestone moment. I wasn't really finished in that year, and it took me a few years to get it to what you see now, but it's slowly getting there. It's still not finished now.
Are they ever finished?
No. I think project cars or cars you make yourself are never finished.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like there's been lots of personalisation done on the car. Elements to this that you have been quite particular about.
On the standard 40 series, the indicators are actually on a stalk that sit on approximately here. They weren't really to my taste or the style I wanted, so these are actually from a 70 series, I believe, from Land Cruiser. And they fit really well, and I've seen a few now that have changed to this style. This is from an original 1960s Land Cruiser. I thought the bonnet needed some feature to bring it alive. The headlights, as you see, I've gone with LED.
Yeah.
The first time we went for a drive in the evening, it got dark, I actually put the lights on and there was no difference on the illumination. So I actually stopped, got out and walked around the front, and the lights were on, but they were like two little candles.
And that's with the original lights?
The original lights. So straight away that was on my list of things to update.
Now what really stands out with a fairly modified and recently restored vehicle is that it seems to be at the standard ride height, is that correct?
This is the standard ride height. Yeah, even though it's a 4x4 built for off-roading, I'm not really an experienced off-roader.
Yeah.
We've been a few times, I've got stuck a few times. And then I spend several months afterwards getting the sand out of everywhere. The chassis is standard, the engine is standard, the gearbox is a 4-speed standard. We'll be quite happy for 100k an hour, but with it being open top, it does get quite noisy, so we find that the optimum speed is around 80. And it's very happy at 80. The snorkel is off FJ Cruiser.
Really?
Rebuilt it all
Yeah.
to get the correct angle and get the length right. I've spent many hours looking at pictures and thinking about what I can do, what works, what doesn't work. This is going to upset a lot of people. It's a Toyota Land Cruiser, but this is actually from a Jeep Wrangler. Sorry about that. This is quite a quirk of the 40 Series Land Cruiser. I'll pop it open if you like. And there we have air conditioning.
So Brian, I'm interested to have a closer look at what's under here.
Of course we can.
Can we roll it out and have a closer look?
Yep, we'll roll it out.
Oh, gas strut as well. Wow, that engine looks amazing, doesn't it? It's so clean. It's a big engine in the engine bay, isn't it? It's a small bay, but it's pretty well filled out, isn't it?
It's pretty well filled out, but there's still lots of room to actually work on it.
And they run at a much lower pressure, don't they, compared to modern diesels?
They're quite lazy engines.
Yeah. But that's all they needed though, isn't it?
That's definitely.
Power steering as well?
Power steering. Went for a drive in the hills. We lost power steering.
Yeah. And you knew about it?
Oh, I definitely knew about it. The intake is standard there. I just modified it slightly because I got the snorkel. I just tubed it in there.
Even though the car's been on the road for 7, 8 years, I suppose, since you finished the restoration, the paint still looks amazing. Who did that?
I have to hold my hands up for that one.
You should be proud. It looks amazing.
It turned out okay. I actually did it in the garage right behind you. I built a frame out of retic pipes, covered it with drop sheets, surrounded the outside with lots of lights, set myself up. On the floor I laid cardboard and sprayed it with water to keep the dust down. Preparation is the key to a lot of things. So there was no rust, all the metal was all solid. I watched lots of videos about how to spray paint, and I took on board how to hold the gun and everything, but it said practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
Did I practice? No. It came to the day, I thought I'm not going to practice because automotive paint is very expensive. So it came to the day of painting and I just went, compressor on, here we go.
All right, bit of a mix of old and new in here, Brian, but the standout for me anyway is that gauge cluster. Great that you kept that. I really like that you've got this little tacho in here as well. It looks very much like a Toyota item. Is that an original?
That is original for the Toyota BJ42. They changed the dash from the 40. I've added my own instrument so I can keep an eye on what's happening.
Yeah. Dash cam here as well.
We've got dash cam, we've got Apple CarPlay, I've got GPS. I like to mix the old and new.
Yeah, best of both worlds. And the major controls down here as well in the middle, so high and low range selection.
High and low range selection, manual engagement on the front wheels.
It's not just a flick of the switch from the dashboard like modern vehicles.
You have to
get your feet dirty
and get your feet dirty. The seats are from a Mazda CX-7. This one is actually electric adjustable, which is quite fancy for a 40 Series Land Cruiser. Originally the door level would come out here. You'd have the roof here. And because I removed the roof, I cut the doors down and then I made the alley cap-ins to suit.
So Brian, it's a bit of time and expense to go to get a nice comfy bench seat out the front of your house like this. What kind of response do you get from people on the road when you're driving it out there?
We're actually overwhelmed, but because we still get the response now, people smile and wave and thumbs up, and I never thought we'd get that kind of response, but people love to see us driving around. And at the shows, it gets big interest. Classic Cars and Coffee, which is one of our favourites, we go to. We're quite happy to let people have actually a sit in the car. Parents take photos and the kids are so happy. And on one occasion we had this old gent and he was admiring it, and Carol said, "Get in." So he actually got in and he burst into tears. He was so actually overwhelmed with the joy of actually sitting behind a cruiser again, and it made his day and it made our day too. I didn't realise they were such a part of Australian history, but
they were interwoven, weren't they?
They're interwoven with it, and they can relate to the 40 series Land Cruisers.
Yeah. Well, shall we go out on the road and see what sort of interest we get today?
Oh, of course we can.
Okay, let's go, eh? Great sound to it, doesn't it?
It does.
I quite like that. It's so different from a new diesel, isn't it? It must be a real stump puller in low range.
Yeah, yeah. That's about as fast as it goes. It's 0 to 100 eventually.
Yeah. And unlike a lot of older cars, this is pretty high, isn't it? So you can sort of see as much as someone in a new SUV can in traffic as well, which would be a big advantage compared to a lot of classic cars that are pretty low.
And here we are at Burns Beach. Even on a weekday it's popular.
It's a secluded little spot up here, isn't it? It's quite nice. Have you always had a preference for a diesel over a petrol?
Yeah.
What is that, just the way they deliver their power?
Yeah, I just like the torque, the low down torque, and the sound of a diesel. I filled it up yesterday and it cost me $120. It will last 3 or 4 months quite easy.
Yeah, yeah. There's absolutely no squeaks, is there, and rattles at all?
Occasionally you'll get an odd noise.
Yeah.
Last weekend there was a strange noise coming from the steering wheel. So when we got home, straight away the steering wheel was off. What's going on? Why is there a noise?
Have you ever needed RAC roadside?
I have, yes. Last year, coming home from work, my clutch went on my Mazda Bravo Ute, and I had to pull over. Being an RAC member for breakdown, I gave them a ring, and even though it was peak hour, the tow truck was here within the hour. Put me on the back of the truck and dropped the vehicle off at Wangara. So yes, and I was very pleased with the service.
Oh, that's good to hear. A great experience then, by the sound of it.
It was, yes, recommended.
Well, thanks so much, Brian, for showing us your car. That was a lot of fun.
You're more than welcome.
It's a beautiful car.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you on the road soon.
I'll be around.
I'll look out for you.